Intro music. Welcome to the JawsAtak, JawsAtalk show. Now we're in this with another one. One of my good homies, Andy. Fuck, man, finding just my way in life, really. Like, this dude really helped me. Alright, so like I said, I met him in high school, helped me out with a lot. My graffiti game changed 100%. And it's kind of crazy we don't have similar styles. It's really wild that I didn't, take the similar style and kind of do my thing. I've kind of ran in my own lane now, but we just started, found each other on social media, got each other's number, and I'm hella stoked to be interviewing him today. So, HONR, what up, man? Give a little introduction for yourself.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm HONR, and it's really cool to be doing this with you here, man. And when you were talking about when we first met each other, and we were, our style just developing, like growing up,
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because you mentioned like you don't think we have that similar of a style, but the truth is like back then, in my opinion, like our styles were very similar at the time, but. There comes a time where, how they say it, like every student must surpass the teacher. I mean, like the stuff you're doing now, man, is like it's on a different level. I mean, I have the style that I grew up with, that like Frisco funk, like that real deal, like throwy bomb style,
Mm-hmm.
a little more rigid. And you've taken this to a level that I think is just really cool, man. I think it's very admirable.
I appreciate it.
So.
I definitely, every time we go bomb, like, every time I try to rock those same OHs, every time I'm just like, this one's kind of like yours. Like, I tried to bite your style. And then, I don't know, man. I don't know who really inspired me to do this sort of shit, but anyway.
I think it's great, though. But so you want me just to, like, talk about, like, the background, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah, well, we'll just jump into these questions right here, and then you can, like, go into detail with them. Let's see. You can go ahead and talk about OH in this section, but like crews you rock with, town you're from, you rep, and you've kind of already described your style. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, for me, dude, OH that's the crew, dude. One Hope family, and I've ridden with a number of other crews growing up and stuff, but that's always been the one that is closest to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I also, at one time, a while ago, there was some guys from OD who I respect a lot out here, overdosed, like they're their big crew in this area. And, me and one of their cats, Cures, much respect, flipped crews for a second, so we were both riding, he was riding OH and I was riding OD for a while too. But, I mean, One Hope that's the clique, really, And, that's what I would say. And the area I rep, man, is Northern California, man, I would say, like, just the Bay Area in general, because that's where I grew up and that's where I started writing. And, Frisco is where I fell in love with graffiti when I was a kid. That's, like, where it started for me, so that'll always be, like, that's my backyard,
For sure.
When I think about what made me fall in love with graffiti, it took place in San Francisco and in Oakland, So, I mean, that's where I, like, went to school, so to speak, in terms of, like, wow, this is how we do this. And,
Tight.
It was just a different time back then, man. It wasn't what it is today, And,
right.
But it's beautiful still, man, and it's just cool, to be now older, looking back and seeing, like, having those memories and then seeing where the art's gone, because some kids are doing some really amazing shit nowadays. Like, I'm really impressed by a lot of the stuff that people are doing on the mural side of things, especially. Yeah.
So describe OH a little bit, you know, at least your involvement and your hand in the whole deal.
Okay, well, most people in the crew know, but OH got started because of a very good friend of mine and a couple of other my very close friends who passed away. My friend Gene Caldwell, and he passed away, and so we started this thing that was like in his memory. And to be honest, like I said to you before, I wasn't one of the people that had the idea. That was Cosmic and Clone. They came up with like the idea, right? And then, but then they introduced it to. And I think that Bane may have been a part of that too. I can't remember where he was, but he was definitely in the first little group. But one of the founding people. But then they talked to me about it, and like at that time, like there was a lot of crazy stuff going on. We were growing up; we were kids, we were teenagers, and just crazy stuff happens when you're growing up, And but our friend had died, and his brother died too, actually. So we started this like memorial crew for them, and it just like squashed all the beef, man, and it turned into this like real love, I don't know, just love fueled thing in my opinion, and it just caught fire, and we all just ran with it. And at the time, like I said, I was living, out in Oakland, so the kids back up north would come visit, man, and we'd have these like, graffiti weekends where we'd go out and light up for 2 days straight, stay out and not care about sleep, not care about like barely eating food, end up sitting on a front porch with 3 of us at 4 a.m. on a Saturday, being like, man, that was a heck of a weekend,
That's tight. That's tight.
But yeah, I mean, so those cats came up with the idea, and then that turned into, it started out as ONOS Army, and then it changed to OH after that. And we all had like little things that we came up with along the way, The One Hope thing, that was my baby. That was like my little piece of this thing that, that was my phrase that I just made so much sense to me when I was growing up. And, and like I talked to you about last night, like the idea behind One Hope is that we could all go like, the hope was that we could all end up living these like really amazing lives like later on, because there was a lot of crazy shit happening. That was my idea behind it. And, to watch it evolve and to watch us all grow up and like end up having those lives is like really fucking rewarding, man. Like I look at you and other people that I'm close with in the crew that I really care about and get to go see them do these like amazing things, man. Like, and it's fucking really cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah, the evolution and like the expansion, it's become like a wildfire, honestly. I heard a couple stories like of like you ripping the emblem off one of Cosmic's cars and shit. Like I heard it was pretty crazy down there before OH was really put together. All right. So, what were some of your inspirations growing up when you started, and maybe like crews or just specific writers and stuff like that?
A lot of city cats. Like definitely, like I think at that time, like in that time period anyway, everybody looked up to Twist. Like that was somebody who I just fucking loved when I was a kid. Also at that time period, that was when the LA integration of the Frisco scene was like really kind of embedding itself, you know what I'm saying? And those cats like Revoke, Saber, Norm, Reyes, all those cats were like in Frisco and they were like killing it. And like, I'm like a kid. Dude, I want to do what these guys are doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's just because they were like doing shit that like I had never even fucking considered doing, like big rollers up on top of buildings, and but I don't know. Like I think anybody that grew up around San Francisco, like they kind of have a natural love for graph, like because even way back before Twist, like with Crayon and you know, TWS and like all those, you know, big city crews like Out to Crush and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like just fucking everywhere. You know?
Yeah, it's good to hear Twist's name again, man. I mean, I've only done a handful of these interviews, but yeah, dude, Twist was definitely one of the dudes. You know, when like me and Kura would like head down to San Francisco, like it was like finding Easter eggs. You know, seeing a Twist bomb behind a billboard and shit. So that's tight, man.
Yeah, man. No, that's crazy too, because like, you know, like the kind of thing you were talking about, like when we were growing up, man, kids do all kinds of stupid, crazy shit. You know, when you're a teenager, you know, being all drunk and acting like a teenager. You know,
right?
But then like. It was funny because in a way, like I found that, like when we all fell into this art thing, like I don't know, man, it like gave us kind of a purpose, and you know, like,
yeah, dude.
Like I was talking to you last night, and you know, when I was talking to you last night about you know, changing the world like this teeny little bit. Remember that? I think that. You know, a lot of us, you know, and I definitely felt like this. I felt like every time we were like involved in that, we were involved with this like slight social revolution, and we were like changing the world and, you know, changing its landscape of the urban view. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't know. It's just, it was cool, man. You know, it changed being a kid from like this rough, tumultuous time to like having a greater reason to be like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Just, yeah, man. As opposed to just like vandalizing, but really kind of putting a positive spin on things.
Exactly. No, for sure. You know, like, yeah, man.
Let's see. Where did you come up with the name HONR? Still there? You still there?
Anthony? Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you still there? Can you hear me? Alright, hold on. I'm going to try to call him back real quick. I'm not sure what happened. It was a little bit glitchy. Alright, we're calling him back right now. He's working on that. It's the drawing I got going on. Yeah, a little glitchy connection. You there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Okay.
Oh, that's better. That's better. So, the question I had was, where did you come up with the name HONR?
Well, at that time, right, I was probably like 20, I think. So this is, you know, this is a long time ago, bro. This is going on 2 decades ago.
For sure.
Know what I mean?
For sure.
Anyway, I was sitting at this table of this house in Oakland that I was staying at, and this fucking house was crazy with me and a few friends. I think there's like 6-7 people living there, and I had been writing this other name for a long time, and I was sitting there sketching it, and then it just like I came up with like the HONR, and I just loved how it flowed. I thought it flowed like very similar, and I loved what it stood for, you know? Like like to be like honor, like it's to kind of speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to be a heartfelt, caring person, to try to do the right thing. You know what I mean? And you know, not to say like, dude, fuck, man, I think everybody's had their fair share of decisions they regret. You know what I mean? I definitely do, but you know what I mean? In the end, like, I feel like we all had really good hearts. Like, things worked out okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Definitely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right. Cool. I was always wondering what inspired you to start writing that.
Well, dude, and what tripped me out, bro, just between me and you, when I came up with that, like, nobody was writing it, and it, like, fucking blew my mind.
Right.
That it had taken that name yet.
Right.
Because the other name that I was writing, there was this other kid in L.A. who wrote the same fucking thing, and, like, he was hella good, man, and he was I did not want funk with this guy, even though I'd been writing it for like a few years, and I
No
was trying
doubt.
to come up with something new.
Right.
And I was like, dude, this is right. Like, fuck, nobody writes this, you know, especially
Right.
that spell. You know what I mean? And then if you remember, for a long time, I wrote like 21 over it too with like the number.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like, that was very, very particular.
Right.
You know,
Right. All right. Let's see. That's the next question I got. How long have you been writing?
well, I mean, realistically, you know, I mean, I haven't gotten up in probably like 10 years now. You know, I do like murals, and I still do canvases, but I haven't actively gotten up in like probably 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, it's been at least 10 years. But like, I still do, like I said, legal murals. I still do tons of canvases. Still love the art.
Yeah.
I've just kind of gotten older, you know?
Right. Right.
Now, I started getting up when I was like 13,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so I mean, probably put in like almost 15 years before I, you know, before I had to kind of chill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we killed Humboldt. We killed Humboldt.
Yeah, man. No, dude, you know, when I moved up there, man, it was like, I feel like it was similar to how the guys from LA felt like moving to Frisco. Like, you know, I met up with you, and then made some new friends, and met up with some old friends too. You know, like, it became like this, like, for a while there, it was like this graffiti vacation that I didn't want to end at all. You know?
Definitely, dude. Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because there was a while there when I had that like shitty ass little apartment, and like we're just like going out and bombing like every single day, and like drinking hella beer, and like eating hella food, and like it was like the same shit every day for like, you know, at least 6-7 months that I can remember. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
You know, but you know, but we were just like, you know, it was just so fun. You know, at that time, it was just all about having fun. So, you know, like whatever, it's like skateboarding. You know what I'm saying? It's,
right. Yeah,
it's just like something I wanted to do, you know?
Yeah, we were definitely having fun up there, man. Like you said, I could see it was like a vacation, dude. We're all just kind of like crazy motherfuckers, just down to just, yeah, man, skate, party, whatever, you know? All right, let's see. What's the best advice someone has given you? Whether it's
best advice
given me. Whether it's been like early in your art career or most recently, like what's a good piece of advice that just sticks out in your mind?
In terms of art, you're saying?
Yeah. Specifically, okay. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, man, I mean, you know, for me, just in terms of art anyway, I'll say this, like, I really had to, when I was younger, I used to do these, like, ultra complex, like, just, like, super old, and, you know,
You're kind of breaking up a little bit.
How about now?
That's better.
Okay. So, yeah, one of my buddies, like I said, he kind of told me to keep it simple, you know what I mean? Just, like, don't make it overcomplicated. Just make it look good, and make it clean, and just make it pop, and it'll look really good, you know? And I kind of embraced that early on, and, like, as I got older, I got much more into these, like, very defined lines, and, like, very, you know, that was just kind of more my style. You know, if that makes sense. You know, and yeah, man, I mean, shit, I don't know. I've had a lot of, good advisors and good friends along the way that have definitely, you know, told me a lot of good stuff as I've been growing up, you know? But, you know, you just, I don't know, man, just show up and try to do the right thing and work hard and, you know, stay out of the bullshit, and you'll be all right, man. You have a good life, you know?
And I'm pretty sure at one point you told me to keep my style simple, and I don't know if I did or not. And then I met Clone. Actually, when we went down and met Clone, I was like, he didn't do like any wild stuff. Like in his whole black movie.
No, it's super simple, like
really simple,
like old school, throwy, you know.
Yeah, and after that, I was just like, tight. I'm gonna do hella simple shit. And now I don't know where the fuck I got this, whatever I'm doing from. All right, let's see. Where do you envision your art going, or what would you like to do with it?
Well, recently, man, I've been really on some really cool trips in terms of canvas art, and I've met some guys that were, outside of the graffiti world that, really like inspired me. Guys that are like, big glass workers and guys that are sculptors and stuff like that. And I just feel like my art specifically is going to just continue changing and maturing, but I always want to stay rooted in where I'm from too, Like, to this day, if I just want to chill, I'll sit there and just sketch, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the time, So, I don't know, man, I imagine it's going to go somewhere good, though. I mean, I definitely, I had a couple offers about some shows coming up and stuff that I might do. I've done a couple little shows in the last few years. I did one pretty big show back a few years ago, and that was pretty tight.
Nice.
Where it was like a huge room, and I got to hang like, 20, 30 canvases.
Yeah.
It was a party. It was cool.
Hell yeah. I don't know why, but I've always wanted, like, I've been stoked on cereal boxes, because, like, I feel like their letters and character, it's very, like, graffiti-esque, I thought it'd be tight to do a cereal box, so if I ever get rich, best believe I'm coming out with a line of cereal.
Jaws.
I know, that's a random one. What's your favorite mediums you like to use? Like you said, you kind of stopped bombing. And moved on to canvas. Like, what all do you use?
I mean, honestly, dude, most of the time for canvases, I just use, like, different, like, acrylics, like, blend in the background. And then I'll just use, like, a whole bunch. I have, like, literally, like, buckets of different, like, clackers, like, different paint pens, you know what I mean? And I'll use those because I think it makes it pop, like, super nice. And, I mean, it's just really, you're just doing the same thing as a brush. You're just using a nib rather than a brush tip. Basically, But, man, I mean, shit, I still love how paint comes out, you know what I mean? I would go, do a legal mural whenever,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But, I mean, nowadays, definitely just canvas, acrylics, like clackers, stuff like that.
Okay.
But honestly, sometimes I still just like to keep it old school, bro, and just sit down with a fucking Sharpie and a, old manila envelope and just draw black and white sketches, you know what I mean? Because that's me, bro. That's where I'm from, you know what I mean? It makes me happy,
So I challenge everybody that watches this video to do a Sharpie battle with HONR, and hands down, you're gonna get smoked. Let's see. Have you ever used oils? I feel like I'm the only person who uses, like, me and Rob are like the only people that use oils.
I never got into it, man, because when I first started painting canvases, for one, they're usually more expensive, right? And they always seem like they're more of a hassle. Like, acrylics are kind of easy to use.
Right.
They're not. They're really easy to manipulate, that's for sure.
Right.
And it usually dries hella fast. Like, if you're somewhere the sun's out, you can go put your canvas in the backyard, and that shit's going to be dry in, like, 15 minutes.
For sure. Oils stay wet for damn near a week easily.
Right.
I mean, I've gotten just so used. I mean, when I was hanging out with Rob, he was using oils. So I went straight from, like, tagging everywhere to, like, painting oils. You know what I'm saying? So
that cat's style was just so sick back then. Like, I remember, like, I was, like, thoroughly impressed by the stuff that he was doing. I was just like, dude, like, it's just mind-blowing. I was, like, waiting for a dude to, like, cut his right ear off, you know what I mean? Like,
he's damn near there, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's awesome being in contact with all you guys, All right.
It's awesome, man.
Let's see. Greatest memory you've experienced in the game?
Oh, man.
I know there's... You gotta... I mean, even just that bombing story was hella tight,
Oh, dude, I mean, that's it. There's so many. I don't really think I have, like, one huge memorable thing. I have a lot of little memories, man, and especially related to the people that I grew up with in the scene, like yourself, and most of my best memories that I associate with this is, the relationships that I've had and getting to see these people, like, when we go from, like, we're kids and we're all mixed up and we're trying to figure shit out, and then we get to see each other, 20 years later, and they're like happy and they have like great lives, and they're doing what they want to do for work, and and they just seem good, like shit worked out for them. You know what I mean? That's like my really good memories. But then I have like a ton of like little stories that I remember from like I was sharing about like running around Oakland and stuff with like the boys at 3 in the fucking morning, and falling over fucking barbed wire fences and smashing on the ground and running anyway.
It reminds me of when you and Caddy hit the billboard. I'm never gonna forget that. And then who fell off? Someone.
When I fucking almost died.
Yeah, you fell off. That's wild.
Oh god. Oh, that was scary. Yeah.
one of many memories, but no, I like that, like the evolution of people. I think that's like a hella important one to note for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a trip. Like, I recently, me and one of the OGs, we had dinner together, and we hadn't seen each other in like 10 years, man. And it was fucking so cool, and got to talk about where we came from and then where life is at now. Got to share the art we were doing then and the art we're doing now. And, it was just fucking cool, bro. I don't know how else to say it. It was really cool.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely hyped that took place. And it's I always find it interesting because it's like, I mean, even with us, or even when like I finally put the social group together, like we all like reflected back on like the old stuff we came from, and it's like that's cool. That's where we started, and we're here now. But I mean, we should all just like understand like the future is just going to keep growing. You know what I'm saying? And right now we're going to look back, or like in the future we're going to look back on like right now. You know what I'm saying? When we put the first anniversary meeting together. You know what I'm saying? So there's just so much, man. There's so many levels to this. It's really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, man. No, I think it's like a family, man. And it makes me smile to see all the different facets, I guess. I think if like you didn't know, like outside looking in, like it would look like a bunch of people that don't even know each other, really. I'm fucking totally
if
serious. If
we were all just standing in a lineup, right.
Like literally. But I think the more you get to know what it's about, you start to see that there's really like a pretty rich texture there that it actually all goes together. And that's, I think, the magic in terms of like a real heart-based crew, right? That's been around for what fucking. We keep saying 20 years. It's funny, though. I did the math the other day. It's actually 19 years, but we'll just go with 20 because it sounds better.
Yeah. Cosmic was saying the same thing. Saying the same thing. It's like, we still got a year for the end.
I was like, well, I think we were a little off, but
I don't know
cool
who
to say that.
I don't know who put anniversary, man. It might have been you who said anniversary first. I was just saying. I was saying barbecue.
It's very possible.
Right.
And like I said, it's kind of funny now, but whatever. We're just rolling with it at this point.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I want to do. I don't know if I mentioned this to you I mentioned it to a couple people, but I want to do these crew meetings like twice a year. You know what I'm saying? And if we can get them in different places where like the crew is at, I think that would be dope. Like if we took a trip to LA, like the next one's in LA or something, because HONR has a bunch of like LA connects, so that's a thought that I want to, but we're going to get this first one done first, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
What's the worst memory you've experienced in the game?
Oh man, dude. It's kind of a depressing question, isn't it?
A little bit. Everybody's got unique stories, man,
Yeah, man. I would just say a combination of watching when friends pass away.
Definitely.
That's been the hardest for sure. I'd say that's it. When friends aren't with us anymore.
No, that's hella real. That's hella real.
But because that shit happens, and it's good. It makes you very thankful for the life that we get to have.
Definitely.
Because I feel like at any time, many different times, I could have been right there myself. And
no doubt.
I look at, this life that I get to experience now, and, it's pretty amazing, so, it makes me pretty happy.
Definitely. So being chased by the cops is not, everybody watching. It's not the worst thing.
Oh, dude, no, don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, Jesus Christ, we used to get chased like every other weekend when I was like a teenager.
Right.
I mean, but that was 20 fucking years ago, so whatever.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, that was just like par for the course in the Frisco graffiti game. Like, you went out and you painted, and if they came, you run.
You were done. Yeah. You're finished. Yeah.
You're not gonna hang out and fucking wait if they're gonna see us or talk nice to
you. Right. Right. Demise had a very interesting story yesterday about legally painting the wall and cops showing up with like their guns drawn and shit. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's funny you said that, because I think I told you this story before. But one time, I was painting a legal mural with 2 or 3 other artists, right? And we were there like all day. I'm talking from 8 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, And we're like barbecuing. I mean, it's like very obvious this is, permission.
Right.
Fools are just like chilling,
Right.
And a couple cops came, and they're just like checking it out. And this one cop walks up and looks at me. And he goes, "Man, you guys are really talented." And he like laughed, and he was like serious. He wasn't like laughing, And it dawns on me, this same fucking cop like tackled me when I was like 15. Had like totally brought me to the station for writing. Called my parents, had them come pick me up.
No doubt.
Back then, I mean, that's a long time ago, but we're talking the 90s. Like they didn't. It wasn't really looked at as like a gnarly big like felony thing until after Prop 21. Back then it was more like a, you fucking kids, quit doing that shit.
Right.
We'd be like, okay, that's it,
Cool. Let's see. Next question. What are some projects you're working on, or next thing you got scheduled?
In terms of art?
Yeah, sure.
Man, I'm just like doing a lot of canvases right now. I don't have anything on the books, but I would definitely like to do another show soon. And I think that it's going to be, somewhere up here in NorCal, north of the Bay. But I don't know. I'll definitely let you know, if I end up doing one, because I've actually been talking to a couple people about that recently. Okay. And I have like an abundance of canvases right now. I have like 30 painted canvases I can hang up.
Oh yeah, so I know that feeling.
They're just like piled up at this point.
For sure. And when I interviewed Nail, pretty much said, plus we got our crew meeting. There are no details for anybody watching because this is crew only.
That's right.
That is something that to watch out for, because it's gonna be dope.
No, for sure. And it's funny that, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's funny that you bring up Nail, because I've never met him before. I don't know who he is, right? We're from 2 different generations, right?
Yeah, very much.
But this is what we were talking about last night when we were at dinner. We were talking back and forth real quick. Or when I was at dinner, we were talking. That's the legacy of this thing, is that, like, I literally am, like, driving to work one morning, like, suit and tie, driving to my job, and I look up and I see this gigantic One Hope rocker on the freeway,
Height.
And as I mentioned, this is like, the beginning of our conversation, like, that little piece of it was my baby, and so then to see that up on this huge wall, I don't even know who the fuck did it.
Yeah.
I don't know,
That's why I said it's like a wildfire.
It's crazy, bro. Like, I'm sitting there, like, driving to work, and like I said, I haven't written for over a decade. And it just blew my mind to, like, see this, like,
that's tight,
chilling, it made me, that's like what we were talking about, too, about affecting the world a little bit. Like, that was, like, I was like, holy crap, it was like that feeling, like, wow, like, our love for art and our love for what this was about and what it's grown into it's continued. Like, it's continued outside of my generation by generations, I think it's pretty amazing.
Hell yeah, dude. I don't know if you saw in the group chat, but we were talking about, like, the mural for the meeting. I think we're gonna do like video games, like video game characters.
Okay.
So, just a thought. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing that Rampage game.
That's awesome.
You know?
With like the guys, like the Rampage is the one where you're like smashing the city and there's like a Godzilla and like a big King Kong.
Yes.
And like
pulling people out of buildings and stuff. So, anyway.
That's what's up.
But yeah, some sort of video game theme. I think someone mentioned Parappa the Rappa, and so it's gonna be cool, man. I'm pretty excited about this. All right.
That's sick.
Words of wisdom for the younger generation.
Man, words of wisdom to the younger generation, man. Just, I would just say, let me put it this way: if I could talk to me at that stage, you know, I would just say, dude, just like, you know, be yourself, be honest, and try to stay away from things that hurt you, and just focus on things that are going to help you. You know, focus on things that are going to be good for you, and you know, and as you get older, man, like those of us that are like into art and that like speak that way, you know, it's like we end up with, like I said, these really cool paths later, I think, you know, like realistically, I just feel like I've been very lucky, you know, like it's pretty cool, you know.
Definitely.
So I would just say, yeah, man, just be true to yourself and do the right thing, and, you know, stay away from things that are negative for you, you know, and live in a good way, you know, so.
Right. Let's see, other than art, what are other things you're interested in?
Oh, man, other than art, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
Come on. No, man, you know, at this point in my life, bro, I spend a lot of time outdoors, a lot of time with my family. You know, we're considering, actually, me and my wife have been together for some time now, and we're working on that, you know, just, we try to spend a lot of time together, man, and, you know, I try to do a lot of art still, like I said, and, you know, just try to get out, get in nature, you know, stay close to that, for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I asked Nail that, and he's like, oh yeah, me and Grief go fishing a lot, and I'm like, wow, I wasn't expecting like that, but...
No, they do, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. This real life shit. Like, they sent me a video of them like floating down the river, like,
right.
You know, fishing, and you know, all you could see was just the river and like the poles. It was beautiful, and I was like, dude, that's what I'm fucking talking about right there. Like,
that's tight.
That's the kind of stuff we used to like get drunk and like talk about. You know,
right?
You know, sure. You know. So I just think it's pretty cool that, you know, that kind of stuff is happening. You know. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, and then this question, I got like two more questions. This one is, anything else you'd like to raise awareness on or rant about? I originally came up with this question because my friend likes to just rant about politics, but aren't you like vegan now or something?
Dude, you know what? I've been back and forth about that. At this point, I just try to eat really healthy. I was for a while.
Okay.
But I just had a hard time, you know, balancing it in terms of staying healthy. You know, so nowadays I eat essentially vegetarian, but I also eat like fish for protein sometimes. And, you know, I don't know. I have to be healthy. I have to do what's good for my body. Yeah. You know, but I definitely believe in the concepts behind that, like a lot. Yeah,
absolutely,
for sure. I just I don't know. I suck at staying vegan. What can I say? It's really hard to keep up. I'm just saying.
I think that's one thing that's like pretty universal in the crew. I think everybody's like really on like a health conscious tip, so that's hella good.
Yeah, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I try to not eat like gnarly stuff, but I'll eat like some, you know, fresh salmon or something like that. You know. For some reason, I don't feel as negative about that as eating like a slaughterhouse cow.
Right. No, absolutely.
I mean?
No, absolutely.
You know?
So yeah, is there anything else you want to like raise awareness about other than that? Like,
man, not really. You know, like I said, just, you know, when you ask me what my best advice would be, you know, I would just say to everybody that is doing this art and that is and staying close like this, you know, it's really cool. But you know, just to be good to yourself, man, and not fuck around with shit that's gonna fuck you up or mess you up in the long term, you know. And everybody knows what's good and what's bad for them.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
So, just stick with things that are good for you, man.
Cool.
You know?
All right, and then the last question I have on this is, how can people follow you?
Um, I don't really. I mean, I have like an Instagram, but that's about it.
Okay.
And realistically, like, I mean, I don't even really use it very much.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't really have like a set following thing for people to like follow me outside of my Instagram.
Okay. Do you want me to add the link when I upload this video?
You can. That's not a big deal.
Okay. Cool. I'll do that for sure. All right. Well, that's all the questions I got. I hella appreciate you doing the interview, man. It's definitely good catching up and all that,
Yeah, man. No, dude. I mean, this, man. I love you, bro. And like, I just, I got so much love for you, man.
For
like,
sure.
you got no idea. Just
For
like
sure.
a lot of these kids that I grew up with. All these kids that we were, the kids that really ran with this in the first place. There's so many I can't even name names. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
But you know who you are.
Right. For sure. For sure. Well, yeah, man, we're keeping the crew strong, man. And definitely, it's gonna be awesome linking up in at the crew meeting. No details, because
no details. But
the crew's got the details.
So I love that, man. Hush, hush.
Yeah. There'll be pictures. That's all. That's all we give the people. All right, cool, man. Much appreciated.